Hey everyone, welcome to Massachusetts Sports Central. This is our NFL game picks for Week 15. Getting into the stretch run of the season, and it's been done for a couple weeks, so we will have the full slate of 16 games the rest of the way. In Week 14, we had a mediocre week with a 9-7 record, which brings the overall season record to 133-75 for the year. Okay, let's get right into Week 15 games. Starting with Thursday, we have a Battle of Titans with the Broncos visiting the Colts. It will be interesting to see if the Broncos' defensive renaissance last week carries over. The Colts are not a dynamic offense, so it very well could. As bad as the Broncos are this season, the Colts are worse, so I will take Denver 2013. This week they are starting to do some Saturday games. The first one is the Bears visiting Detroit to face the Lions. This is a must-win for Detroit to keep their fake playoff hopes alive. As much as I appreciate the Bears shellacking the Bengals last week, since he just mailed it in and Detroit is a much better team. I don't think it will be a blowout, but I do think the Lions should win 27-20. The primetime Saturday game is a big one with the Chargers visiting the Chiefs. These two teams are tied for first place, so the winner will be up a game with just 2 to go. For the Chiefs especially, it will be huge, since if they do win, they will have swept the season series. So the only way the Chargers can end up ahead of them is to win the other 2 games with the Chiefs losing both. Of course, the way things are going this season, that's hardly an impossibility. Anyway, I think that the Chargers are hot and the Chiefs are not, despite the big win over Oakland last week. With a touch of trepidation, I will take the Chargers 28-17. All right, on to the 1 p.m. Sunday games. Starting off, let's see, we have Miami visiting Buffalo. This is a big game for Buffalo to stay in the playoff hunt. Miami needs to win, to keep their playoff hopes alive, but that is really just, smoke and mirrors. Don't think we are looking at another blizzard for this one, but this will not be a fun game weather-wise for the Dolphins. Buffalo keeps in the mix with a 23-19 win. Our next game is Green Bay visiting the Panthers. This will be Aaron Rodgers' return to the Packers, so there is a big raising of the bar for their performance. But, who knows what he will be like. The Panthers are playing fairly well and are still in the mix for the division, but could also fall the way out of the playoffs, so they have plenty to play for. I'm not convinced that the Packers will get that close to making the playoffs, but I think the hope will last at least another week as Green Bay wins 24-20. Next up are the Ravens going to the Browns. I won't be shocked if the Ravens have a letdown at some point, but it isn't going to be this week. They will keep pace to win a wildcard spot with an easy 20-6 win over the Browns. Next game is Texans at Jaguars. Jacksonville can really put themselves in position to take the division with a win in this game. The Texans are really struggling and can't really beat anyone right now. I don't see them taking the upset here, and Jacksonville wins 20-10. We have the Bengals going to Minnesota to face the Vikings up next. Minnie didn't play well last week, and but they need to keep winning to try to get the number 1 seed and at least secure a bye. They are a much better team than the Bengals, and I don't know if they are going to show up, as in the Bengals are going to show up for the rest of their games after that pathetic game against the Bears last week. I think Minnesota wins easily, 30-13. Next, we have the Jets at the Saints. Not that I would have taken the Jets anyway, but with McCown being out, locks in the Jets of not being as good as they have been up to this point. The Saints are in a fight on every front. They could still get a bye, or they could miss the playoffs altogether. No chance they will drop a home game against a clearly inferior team. New Orleans wins 30-12. Next up are the Wentzless Eagles taking on the Giants. So losing Carson Wentz is a huge loss for the Eagles. But the Giants are still a terrible team. Also, while there is a drop-off, Nick Foles is not a terrible QB. He is probably one of the best backups in the league and is clearly better than a lot of guys that are starting for other teams. The best chance that the Eagles have now is to hold on to their bye and home field advantage in the playoffs. To do that, they need to take care of business against the garbage teams. So Philly takes this one 23-13. Last early game is Arizona at the Redskins. Scheduled makers actually did a pretty good job since this is the first game since that Thursday game that doesn't have any real playoff implications. The Cards are the last team that is still alive mathematically for the playoffs, but there's basically a zero probability of that happening. Either team could take it, but I do think that the Skins are a better team generally, and I will take Washington to win it 23-20. Moving to the late games, we start with a great one with the Rams going to the Clink to play the Seahawks. Currently, the Rams lead the division by 1 game, so it will be essential for Seattle to win to keep their chances to win the division in play. And at the moment, they are actually the first team out of the playoffs. So even if they can't take the division, a loss here will hurt those chances a lot as well. This should be a very good game, and I am looking forward to. I'm looking forward to a great game here. I will take the Seahawks' experience and their history of strong finishes and their generally pretty strong home field advantage to take this one in a nail biter, 28-27. Coming up next is one of the better games on the is the only better game on the slate this week, with the New England Patriots visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers as the 2 top teams in the AFC, and the winner most likely, not definitely, but most likely ending up with the number 1 seed and home field in the playoffs. The Patriots are coming off a tough loss in a major upset in Miami, while the Steelers have been winning by the narrowest of margins for almost 2 months now. I think that the Pats are the better team, though not by a lot. They also have never really had a problem playing the Steelers on the road, so I do think that they are going to take it 30-27. Final afternoon game is the Titans taking on the 49ers. The Titans are struggling while Jimmy G has the Niners riding high. This is really a must-win for Tennessee, as they are now a game behind the Jags and have the Rams next week before meeting Jacksonville in Week 17. If they blow this game, they might not even have a chance to take the division in that last game. I think that they will bounce back and get the victory. I don't think it will be a convincing win, but it should be a win. Titans take it 20-17. Moving to primetime, we have the Cowboys at the Raiders. In a game that proves the NFL cares more about easy ratings than compelling playoff matchups, we still have this game in primetime instead of flexing in the Pats and Steelers, or at least the Rams and Seahawks. This game features 2 teams, 2 of the best rating draws in the NFL, regardless of who they're playing. So they didn't move it. Now this isn't a turd sandwich like the Thursday game, but it is 2 teams that are on the fringe at best of the playoffs. The only intrigue is that whoever loses can stop pretending that they have any real shot. Okay, enough with the mini rant. This really isn't a bad game. I think at this point the Cowboys are a better team. The Raiders can make it happen, but I doubt that they will. Cowboys are taking this one 28-21. All right, last game on Monday night, we have the Falcons at the Bucks. Atlanta has mostly been playing well the last month or so. This is an important game to keep next week's game against New Orleans as a path to the division. To continue with the common theme this week, the team that has a lot to play for should beat the clearly inferior team that is out of the race, and the Falcons roll over an outmatched Bucks team 33-14. All right, we will review our picks after the games next week as usual. Thanks for watching, and please like, comment, and share the videos, and subscribe to our channel. You can also follow us on other social media. Facebook and Twitter are both @MA Sports Central. Thanks, and we will see you soon.